Welcome to Mulch, the podcast for flower farmers who love growing beautiful things and want to build a business that lasts. I'm your host, Rebecca Anning-Brown from Silver Grey Foliage in Yorkshire, and every week we'll get real about what it takes to grow flowers for a living, from the planning and the planting to the mindset and the money. Whether you're just starting out or a few seasons in, you'll find honest conversations and practical ideas to help you to root your business in firm soil. Thank you for listening. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. It really will help more flower farmers to get on and grow. Let's dig in. Hello everyone and welcome back to Mulch. How are you? It finally feels like winter here in Leeds. I'm recording this a day or so, 2 days before the episode goes out, and we've got snow in Leeds. And I think there's more snow to come around the country over the coming days. It feels like winter's here, and we've been desperate for this to happen so that our plants can rest, so that our ground can rest, so we can kill off some of the bugs. Cold is really, really healthy for the work that we do. So I'm pleased, though my fingers were absolutely freezing yesterday when I was cutting foliage. Oh my goodness, they were so cold. It's been a fun week back in the land of Mulch. Enormous thanks to everyone who's shared this being back in their stories, who has sent me a message in our kind of Instagram DMs saying, yay, you're back. And when I've seen those shares in your stories, it really gives me that kind of extra little wiggle, and those messages give me an extra little kind of flash of joy in my tummy. It's really exciting, and thank you. When you do share, can I please ask that you tag us? Not for any reason other than because we all know that Instagram's being a bit funny at the moment. It's a strange beast. And if you don't add that additional tag, I don't always see that you've been so generous and so kind. And it means that I don't say thank you. And that always makes me feel bad. So please do tag us just so that I can see it, so that I can say thank you, and so that I can see who's listening as well, because I know that people listen because I can see the downloads, but I obviously don't know who's listening, when they're listening, and where you are. Thank you. So this week's episode is about 3 things that will help you to grow your flower farms in 2026. I almost framed this episode in terms of my 3 biggest mistakes in the first year of being a flower farmer. I didn't, because that felt quite negative, and these really are 3 things that have fueled lots of our success as we've continued to grow. So I think they're positive, and I want them to be helpful to how you look at moving forward in the year to come. This isn't toxic positivity. It's realistic. It's a realistic understanding of what has led Anthony and I to grow a really grounded and sturdy business. I'm really excited about the 2026 season already, and I hope you are too, especially if the challenges of this year have frustrated you or unsettled you. I hope that this episode will give you three clear things to go away and work on. But before we dig into the main episode, last week in our first episode back, we launched Grow Club. I'm really excited to say that so far we have 7 fabulous flower farmer florists who have joined the membership. I'm so grateful to each of them for trusting us, but more importantly, I'm so excited to be at the very start of working with a community of flower farmers who are ready to grow their businesses so that they pay them money in a way that feels secure and suited to their needs. The doors to Grow Club are open, and they are not set to close until the end of the year, so the 31st of December. However, there are 3 reasons why you might think about joining sooner rather than later. First of all, the price is going up on the 1st of December. So at the moment, if you join us, it is £34 a month, And then on the 1st of December, that will become £42 per month. So you will save quite a lot of money by joining us in November. Joining before December will also give you access to our bonus workshop to reflect and review on the 2025 season. And that's on the second Tuesday in December, so Tuesday the 9th of December at 8 o'clock in the evening. In this workshop, we'll cover everything from the incredible weddings that you've been creating to the swarms of green flies that we have literally seen and been in the midst of. And this reflection is something that I do at the end of every single year. It really sets us up for strengthening our flower farm for the following year. So I'm really looking forward to sharing this with the members of Grow Club for the first time this year in December. And at the end of that workshop, we'll also start to plan our flower farms for 2026 using the Roots framework. It'll mean that when we meet for the first quarterly planning session in January, you've already done some of the thinking about what is staying with you and why other things are not in your plans for the next growing year. The final reason that you may remember from last week is that the first 10 people to join Grow Club receive a copy of the Flower Farmers Planner for free. Now, I did say last week that this would be using a voucher code. Honestly, I couldn't make the tech work properly. So instead, I have listed the price of the Flower Farmers Planner when you add it on as being just £1. There are 3 remaining copies of the Flower Farmers Planner that is usually £40 available for just a penny. So if you'd like one of those as well when you're joining us, I suggest that you crack along because I don't want you to miss out. As always, if you have any questions at all, please do get in touch. And thank you so much to those of you who've joined Grow Club already. I'm really excited to be working with you in our Flower Farmers community. Okay, let's dig into this week's episode. It was really hard to narrow this down to the 3 things, just 3, that I felt would make the most difference. So I didn't want to give you a list of 5 or 10 things that would really help. It really had to be specific and identifiable so that you had something to hold on to and grasp. I don't think it will be any surprise to many of you to know that only one of these 3 is about the actual growing. I talk a lot about growing with other flower farmers. I love everything about seeds and plants and bulbs and everything, soil. I love it. But when I really distill the things that make a difference to our flower farm and how we've progressed, the growing actually comes lower down the list. So here are the things that people don't really talk about enough, and that's one of the purposes of Mulch. So the first thing is about understanding how your money comes and goes. I'm starting with this one because it's one of the challenges of running a flower farm that really stands out from other small businesses. One of the things that consistently comes up for flower farmers in forums and with my mentees is about whether or not you can actually earn a living as a flower farmer. And the answer is yes. Because once you start selling your flowers, you have more money than you think, and money comes in steadily across the season. As flower farmers, our overheads are really quite high. Our business is really different from many other small businesses because not only do we need computers, desks, phones, internet access, we also need tools, seeds, bulbs, water, electricity, and other plant pots, compost, paper, wrapping, string. So many consumables that add up, especially when there's VAT to add on. And it's easy for all of the income to literally trickle out of your bank account like sand. So when you start to understand and follow how your money travels through your business, it's much easier to keep a hold of it and to pay yourself and to waste less. So the work that we do is fabulous for our minds and our souls. And it also needs to be fabulous for our pockets. So Tip number 1, or the first thing that will really make a difference to your flower farm in 2026, is to learn to understand how money comes and goes through your business. The second thing that I'm going to encourage you to do in your flower farm in 2026 is to consider it to be a successful business, no matter what the size of it is, rather than a hobby. And let me tell you why that matters. The assumption about flower farming is that it's a nice thing to do, or that it isn't a way to earn an income, or that the size of your flower farm means that it's not possible for you to make a meaningful difference to your household budget, spending and income. And I'd like to put it to you that the size of your flower farm makes no difference if you consider it to be a hobby that is going well. So whether it's 2 acres or your terraced back garden, if you're considering your business to be a hobby, it will never put you in a position for it to earn you money and to replace other income sources. How you see and describe your business is how others will see and describe it too. And this is a mistake that I see often. You can run a flower farm at a profit from the garden of a terraced house. And I have one mentee who has done exactly that this season. For clarity, the profit isn't huge, it's small, but so is the garden. And what this grower has learned is that she can pay a percentage of her household bills by growing from that small space. It adds to her household income enough to pay a percentage of her household bills. So changing your mindset from hobby, because it's only a garden or it's only a tiny allotment, to this is a business and I'm going to make it pay for something, changes your approach. And it changes how your customers see you too, because that change in you is visible to them, and therefore their perception and willingness to trust and invest in your business also changes too. So, my third piece of advice this week, my third thing that really will change your season in 2026 in so many ways, is grow less. I can hear the pennies dropping. I mean, what, Rebecca? What do you mean grow less? Okay, let's challenge the assumption that growing more means that you're a better or a bigger flower farm. The future of a flower farm is based on quality, always quality before it's based on quantity. So the question that you need to ask yourself is, would I be a better grower if I did one variety in 3 colours or 3 different varieties to achieve the same endpoint? The thing to understand is that the more variety you grow, the more knowledge and processes you have to hold and apply, and the harder it is to achieve a consistently high quality. And it's that consistently high quality that keeps your customers coming back or sending their colleagues and family members and friends to buy from you. So this is the inverse of what we often read. It's why it's potentially controversial, but it's also really worth just having a careful think about. Because what I'm not saying is only grow 2 flowers across the year. What I am saying is that in each part of your season, when you break it down, really think about whether you need to be growing 21 varieties or whether you could actually be more productive, more successful, growing 7. Last week I talked about the Roots framework, and that's what we will be using in Grow Club. So that's resilience, openness to change, ongoing learning, trusted support and steady consistency. Understanding and getting a hold of your money is part of your flower farm resilience, and we'll be working on that in Grow Club with Becky, who's both Haining Garden Accounting and Haining Garden Cottage, which is a flower farm and small holding on the Scottish borders. Becky's fantastic. She's part of our trusted support. She's part of how we're going to work together to make sure that not only do we know what we're doing when we're doing it, how we're moving forward step by step by step, but also how the income that comes in stays in our pockets, because we learn to understand how the money is moving through our business and therefore earns us more. Changing your internal and external description of your flower farm sits within your openness to change. It's a difficult shift, and that takes practice, and I'll work with you every month in the Roots workshops to help you to keep growing your business and keeping your mind and your approach on that as a successful operation that's going to earn you money. Growing less is about developing the sort of consistency that keeps your customers coming back for more week after week after week. And my favourite example of that actually is a yoga teacher that I met this morning. She buys our flowers from a local shop that buy our buckets wholesale every week across the year. And she said to me, I've still got 3 bunches of flowers and I want more. So those 3 bunches of flowers are from the beginning of November and they're still going and looking good. She's moved them around her house, she's chopped the stems down a little bit, but she's still got fresh flowers that are sustainably grown and chemical free and locally sourced in her home because the standard, the quality is high. And that's where everything that we do starts. So that's it from me for this week. I'll be back next week with another episode of Mulch on something practical and relevant to your flower farming practice. I can't wait to share the running total of members in Grow Club with you. I'm really quite enjoying that, and I'm so looking forward to working with you all next year. Until then, have a fabulous week, and I'll be back next Friday for the next episode of Mulch, encouraging you to get on and grow. Rebecca. Thank you for listening to Mulch today. Don't forget to subscribe and to share the podcast with your flower farming friends. I'll be back next week, helping you to firm your flower farming roots with real and practical flower farming insights and advice. Rebecca. Welcome to Mulch, the podcast for flower farmers who love growing beautiful things and want to build a business that lasts. I'm your host, Rebecca Anning Brown from Silver Grey Foliage in Yorkshire, and every week we'll get real about what it takes to grow flowers for a living, from the planning and the planting to the mindset and the money. Whether you're just starting out or a few seasons in, you'll find honest conversations and practical ideas to help you to root your business in firm soil. Thank you for listening. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. It really will help more flower farmers to get on and grow. Let's dig in.